From Oxford, thanks very much for being with us. So we've had Pompeo squarely laying the blame at Iran's door for this. Do you think we will get the evidence eventually that that is what's happened?
Well, we need to be cautious about it. The assumption and what we are getting so far with the intelligence that we're collecting gives us a calculated guess, if I can say. It seems that the sophistication of the attack and the methods used and the weapons used indicate that a nation state, allegedly Iran, was responsible for that, but maybe it was not actually something that was initiated by Iran itself, but something that may be facilitated and carried out by a proxy. So it still remains to be seen, but all the indications leads us towards that assumption.
And what about the possibility that there might be further attacks? There was one official quoted as from the White House saying that more tanker attacks could ensue. We don't think this is over.
Well, it's very interesting to go back a month before, at the 12th of May, when we had the initial 4 attacks against tankers, where the size of the attack was significantly smaller than this one. So we see that those who conducted the attacks did beta testing, if we could say, back in May. And in this case, the result was much bigger and it drew a lot of attention. It drew the UN Security Council to look at the problem initially and try to come up with solutions. So yes, definitely, if we're trying to create a disruption in that specific area, then we'll be probably looking at more attacks being carried on in the near future.
And if that does happen, I mean, and if this escalates, what kind of impact will there be from potentially the closure or the disruption to that particular waterway?
Well, in order to understand that, we should look at the bigger picture. We should look and understand that 90% of global trade is conducted via the sea. The Strait of Hormuz is the most important maritime choke point in the whole world, because about 30% of crude oil and byproducts and 26% of natural gas is being exported through that specific sea route. So if you close that, you create a major disruption in the oil flow, both in markets as the EU, Europe mainly, and the Far East, because 50% of that oil goes to Europe, Japan, China, and India. So if you cause such a disruption, then it has a much global
Tell me what the reaction you expect from the US. I mean, they've talked about, talks and so on, but do you expect any kind of further efforts? I mean, we already had a build-up of additional military forces in the region. What do you expect on that front?
Well, of course, the much more military presence will be coming up in the area. We're expecting to have much closer surveillance of the whole area in order to identify and prevent similar events that may be occurring in that region. And to be honest, this leads to much more instability in the whole region, which is something that it's not really wanted, and it's not something that we're looking forward to, that, to be honest.
Chronis Kapalidis, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you.